Next, let us see what is intravascular pressure sensor. These intravascular sensors or catheter tip sensors have the advantage that the hydraulic connection through the catheter between the source of the pressure and the sensor element is eliminated. That is, no fluid connection or fluid coupling is present in this intravascular pressure sensor because there is a connection between the catheter and the sensor at the outward, that is at the tip of the catheter we are employing sensor. So no liquid coupling will come there. Okay. The intravascular system eliminates the time delay introduced by the tubing system. Okay, so that is why as there is no flush solution or liquid interaction, so here this will eliminate the time delay introduced by the extravascular system, and it allows high fidelity measurement of the high frequency component of a blood pressure signal. In some cases, the blood pressure signal will be having high frequency components as well as low frequency components. So this high frequency component will be measured accurately with high fidelity in this intravascular pressure sensors. So the materials used for this type of sensors are strain gauge bonded onto flexible diaphragm at the catheter tip and fiber optic systems where the displacement of the diaphragm is made optically. So these are the different types of intravascular sensors. First one, fiber optic intravascular pressure sensor. Second one, fiber optic microtip sensor. Okay. So fiber optic intravascular pressure sensor. It will measure the displacement of the diaphragm optically by the varying deflection of light from the back of the deflecting diaphragm. Okay. So as I have told, the displacement of the diaphragm or deflection of the diaphragm will be the output of the pressure measuring system, and this deflection of the diaphragm is measured by means of optical manner. By optically we are measuring the displacement or deflection. Okay, that is optically by varying the reflection of light from the back of the deflecting diaphragm. A light will be incident with the back of the diaphragm. So when the diaphragm is deflecting, the reflection of that light will be varying, and by noting down or by analyzing this reflection of this light, we will determine the displacement of the diaphragm, thereby the pressure which we need to measure. Okay. These devices are inherently safer electrically, but lacks a convenient way to measure relative pressure without an additional lumen either connected to second pressure sensor or a vendor to atmosphere. So we need at least two type of transducers or a sensor in these devices. At first, we need to convert this pressure into displacement, and then we need to convert this displacement into a proportional understandable quantity of electrical variable, any electrical variable. So two type of conversion takes place here. Okay, so this is must in case of intravascular sensor. Also there is a requirement of additional lumen which is connected to a second pressure sensor is also required in order to measure relative pressure. Otherwise we can't measure the relative pressure in case of these devices. Second one, fiber optic microtip sensor. In this case, one leg of the bifurcated fiber bundle is connected to light emitting diode source and other to a photodetector. The pressure sensor tip consists of a thin metal membrane mounted at the common end of the mixed fiber bundle. Okay, so this is the figure of this microtip sensor. So here you can see there is a mixed fiber bundle or fiber optic catheter, and one end of it is connected to photodetector and some of it is connected to LED source. Okay, and this is the junction thin metal membrane, and this is placed at the position from which we need to measure the pressure. Okay. So the external pressure causes the membrane deflection, varying the coupling between this LED source and the photodetector. So from this variation of this coupling, we can detect the pressure. This figure, there is a graph shown here, which gives the signal output variation with respect to displacement. And the operating portion of the curve is the left slope region, where the characteristic is steepest. That is, this is this portion. It is about intravascular sensor types, and there is some disposable pressure sensors also came under this direct measurement, so you can refer it from the text. So next let us move on to indirect pressure measurements. Indirect pressure measurement is a non-invasive attempt to measure the intra-arterial pressure. Mainly there are two techniques, palpatory method and auscultatory method, which is auditory detection of the pulse distal to the occlusive cuff, which we will go in detail. First one, palpatory method. So in this method, this is the procedure by which we can calculate the blood pressure by palpatory method. First one, seat the subject comfortably with his right arm resting on the laboratory table. Second one, legs should not cross and this may raise the systolic pressure. The third one, wrap the pressure cuff around base arm before the elbow. Inflatable bag should be inside that can exert pressure on brachial artery. Okay, so the setup I will show this, it will be like this. So by this method, the cuff we will inflate it by pumping the bulb in one hand. Okay, so this is the cuff and we will inflate it by pumping the hand bulb with one hand. Okay, so when it is inflated, the pressure reading will start. Okay, so at this time we need to note down the pressure reading when the radial pulse is first lost, and then increase the pressure 30 millimeter Hg before or above this point. At this, when the first radial pulse is lost, after that increase the pressure 30 millimeter Hg above this point, and then slowly reduce the pressure in the cuff through this scale by turning the valve counterclockwise. Before we have done it clockwise and now counterclockwise, slightly to let air out of the bag, and note the pressure when the radial pulse first reappears. Okay, so when the radial pulse first lost, we need to increase it, and then we need to decrease it, and when this radial pulse first reappears. So at this point we need to note down the pressure, that will be systolic blood pressure. So when we note this systolic blood pressure, after that we need to let all the air out of the cuff, and we should not leave this cuff inflated for over 2 minutes as it is uncomfortable and will cause sustained increase in blood pressure. Okay, so the systolic blood pressure is recorded by palpatory method, and it will be usually around 5 millimeter Hg lower than the which we obtained using auscultatory method, which is the next method. And the major disadvantage of this method is that we can't use it to measure diastolic pressure. Okay. So this is how we will measure the blood pressure in case of palpatory method. So one thing I have forgot, what is this radial pulse in the radial pulse? Radial pulse is what we feel when we keep our hand in the wrist in order to detect the pulse. Okay, so when the pulse is first lost, and means when it is delayed. Okay, palpate means to feel. Let us see auscultatory method. It is also known as auditory blood pressure measurement. That is, in this case we are using some auditory devices in order to hear, in order to listen the beating, or in order to listen to the pulse by means of some stethoscope like instrument. Okay, so this is also known as auditory blood pressure measurement. Now in this case, this is the procedure in order to find the blood pressure. Okay, so here with one hand we need to place the stethoscope on hand above the brachial artery and listen the heartbeat sound. Brachial artery is the major blood vessel present in the upper arm. Okay, and inflate the cuff 20 to 30 millimeter Hg above the estimated systolic pressure. It is similarly how which we have done in palpatory method. That is by pressing and releasing the pump bulb. We should inflate this cuff. Okay. Now release the pressure slowly, no greater than 3 millimeter Hg per second. So this is the rate by which we should release the pressure. The level at which you consistently hear the heartbeats is the systolic pressure. Okay, so listen to the sound. So at which level you hear consistently the heartbeats, then it is known as, at this time, what is the pressure? It is known as the systolic pressure. And the sounds are heard through stethoscope is called as Korotkov sounds. Okay, Korotkov sounds, and the sounds decrease in pitch during the next 10 to 15 millimeter Hg drop in pressure. So after that, if we decrease the pressure in this rate 10 to 15 millimeter Hg, then sounds will start decreasing its pitch, and after some time the sound suddenly become muffled and distant. It will seem as if it is from many distant. So at this time the pressure should be noted, and it is known as diastolic pressure. Okay, the muffled sound or the distant sound continues for another 5 millimeter Hg pressure drop, after which all sound disappears. Okay, at this point we should note down the pressure, and it is end diastolic pressure. Okay, so this systolic or diastolic pressure range is 120 bar 80 millimeter Hg. Okay, so by this auscultatory method we can find both the systolic as well as diastolic pressure, which is the main advantage of this method comparing to palpatory method. So this is the figure which from which you can see how we should do this auscultatory method of blood pressure measurement. Blood pressure is measured from this sphygmomanometer. How much millimeter Hg it is going, and by observing the sphygmomanometer continuously, we should increase or decrease the blood pressure by using this hand pump. And this is a stethoscope by which we are hearing the beating sound. Okay, so that's all about the direct pressure measurement methods. So in next session we will discuss about indirect methods of pressure measurements.